Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place to find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we are here with my friend and colleague, Miss Robin Shimizu, talking about happy, healthy habits. How you doing this morning, Robin?
I'm doing just fine, Carolina. Thank you. How are you?
All is well.
Good.
All is well. I love to be able to say that. All is well. I'm looking out the window. It's a little overcast here in Texas. I
Mhm.
don't know what the weather is in California, but the street is actually wet, and it has been hot here for what is this, March? It's been like 78.
Wow.
I know. It's about as well to go. Just say it's 80 degrees, people.
That's perfect weather for me. Going out and walking and stuff, that's perfect.
Yes, it's nice to be able to get out and walk, but you got to go early because I mean that Texas sun is a lot. Oh my goodness! So what are we talking about this morning?
Well, a couple weeks ago we talked about the importance of water in the brain, how
Oh
important it is
yes.
for us to hydrate and how that
Mhm.
affects our brain. And so I got to thinking, okay, I do a lot of hydration with sparkling water. I wonder if that's good for me or if it's bad for me. Because I prefer sparkling water over still water. It
My
just,
brother drinks a lot of that sparkling water.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I looked it up this morning and said, okay, is sparkling water healthy or not? And
Okay.
good news is it's okay.
Oh, good, good. So water
That's
versus water. Good.
that's exactly right. Water is water. And what they said, though, you have to be careful when you buy sparkling water that you buy the ones that are not sugared. And if you do buy the caffeinated sparkling water, that's
Hmm.
okay because some people drink caffeinated sparkling water over coffee or
Oh,
over other ways of getting their caffeine because caffeine isn't necessarily that bad for you. In fact, we
mhm.
learned that caffeine is actually kind of good for your brain.
Really?
Um,
I don't
yes.
recall having that conversation, but it's good to know.
Yeah, it's not I mean, people say I guess you shouldn't there's certain people that shouldn't have caffeine, and you
Okay.
need to know that yourself. But it's not necessarily a bad thing to drink caffeinated sparkling water if that's what's gonna make you drink
Ah,
your water. So they
okay.
were saying that's not a bad thing, and sparkling water that has flavor added is not a bad thing either,
Mm.
as long as it doesn't have the calories, the sweeteners in it, like a lot of sugary
Okay.
soda.
Well, I've got a bottle of something here, strawberry flavored sparkling water. It says zero sugar,
Mhm, mhm,
0 calories,
mhm.
0 caffeine, and 0 sodium per serving.
That's perfect because what they're saying is you have to be careful. Sometimes they contain sodium.
Oh,
Sometimes they
okay.
contain, so you just look at the label and make sure that what you're buying is pure water. I make my own sparkling water.
Oh,
I
you do?
I I use filtered water and I use a what the machine called a soda stream and
Uh
it
huh.
carbonates it. It shoots that CO2 into the water and carbonates it. So I know that my water is filtered, plain, pure water that's sparkling. So I don't have to worry. But I do buy bottled sparkling water when I'm out and about.
Uh
Yeah. And then they also say that some sparkling water, be careful if you have GERD, which is the gastric intestinal, where you have acid reflux,
huh. Uh
or if
huh.
you have stomach issues, it can cause bloating and it can cause burping and things like that. So if you have stomach issues like heartburn or bloating or extra gas, then you would avoid sparkling water. You would
Wow.
just drink still water. So it just kind of depends on your own, gut health. Um,
Yes.
yeah,
Maureen is in the audience. She's all about gut health.
yeah, yeah. Maureen, if you have any words of wisdom regarding sparkling water, we'd love to hear it. But they say basically, if that's what your drink of choice is, and that's going to hydrate you, and that's going to make you happy, because some people like the effervescence of the
Mm.
sparkling water, they like the effects of it, and CO2 isn't necessarily bad for your body. So there you go. So people can drink their sparkling water and feel good about it.
feel safe, and yeah, I never thought about that sparkling water, other than, like I said, when I go to other people's homes, a lot of times they consume a lot of it, and I find myself drinking it. But now that I know what to look for, I'm going to read the label a little closer. You know what I mean? To see, does it have a lot of sodium in it, or some of these things that we're trying to avoid.
Mhm, mhm. It
Thank you.
sounds like your daughter did a good job with that big old bottle of strawberry water,
It's
you
just
know?
doesn't like anything's in it.
And, there's nothing in it except for the flavoring, and, if that helps her drink more water, more power to her, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Well,
I'm
good,
glad
Dawn.
it's a good product.
Yeah. So today our guest is Dr. Lawana Parker.
Mm-hmm.
She is our journaling coach and helps people with their gratitude journals and things like that. And so, yeah, we haven't had her on the show for a little while, so it'd be good to hear from her. I don't know what she has for us today.
Okay. Well, let's find out. I'm going to
Yeah.
bring her to the stage.
Hi, Lawana.
Hi, ladies.
Good morning, Dr. Parker. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. Hmm.
Oh my goodness. So what's on the agenda today, Dr. Parker?
Well, I am working on a book, a new book, and it's all about acknowledging our fears. And
Mm.
so I thought maybe I would talk a little about some of the fears that people experience. You know,
Oh,
the things that keep us from doing what we want.
okay. So fear can hold us back, huh?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes. And unfortunately, sometimes it becomes, I guess you could say, a mindset where we just dwell on nothing but the things that can go wrong in our lives.
Mm.
And what we have to recognize is that fear, while everybody says feel the fear and do it anyway, we
Mm-hmm.
also have to recognize the fact that uh, fear is part of our human nature.
Oh.
It's one of those things that it helps keeps us safe. Okay, I mean, you're not going to put your hand in the fire because you know what can happen.
Mm.
So it can help keep us safe and protect us, keeps us alert. But it's when we allow it to become overwhelming that we now have a problem. Okay, uh, I was just trying to think. My mind suddenly went awfully blank. There is a little quote that someone wrote, and of course, it's by that very famous, well, next to famous author. It's called Courage. Courage begins with acknowledging our fears and ends with embracing our strengths, and it's written by unknown. Oh my gosh, yeah. If we didn't have some fears in our lives, we'd be doing some things that will probably end our life very quickly. As young
Mm.
kids, we learn real fast, don't put your hand in the fire, okay?
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Don't talk back to parents. That fear is a respectful fear, not a
Mm-hmm.
fear that you would have because of some danger. Uh, but what we are going to talk about is the fact that fear can stop you from going after your dreams. It comes in many forms. For example, past traumas, something that you may have gone through that affects how you think and feel about a certain thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, negative experiences, even some unknowns can sometimes trigger a fear. For example, I'll use me as an example here. I have some people would say, an unhealthy fear of water. And because of that, I will not go on a cruise.
Mm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now, you may think, well, why not? I mean, it's safe. People go on cruises all the time. I don't know. But for me, Mm-mm, I'm not going out there. My experience came from when I was a teenager, and someone who didn't know I couldn't swim pulled me underwater and
Yes.
held my leg. And ever since then, if I can't stand up and walk from that water, I'm not going there.
Yeah. I
So,
can see where that would be traumatizing. You know what I
mm,
mean?
yes, it's an unhealthy fear, uh, because who knows what could happen tomorrow. I may find myself in a situation where I need to uh, swim out of the water. Ooh, I don't even want to think about a flood or anything, but hey,
Mm-hmm.
it could happen. So we have to acknowledge those fears and then find a way around them. So what I did was when I was working for this company, we had a great event planner. That girl could come up with some of the best things. And one year she decided that we should go on this cruise. Now
Mm-hmm.
I went on it
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to uh, prove to myself that I could handle water. It was just the amount of water in the ocean that was a trouble for me. So I went on it. I actually had a good time. But
Good.
here's the thing, the land, I could see the land. So if something happened, there was the possibility that I could still make it to safety.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But I did have a good time on it. It was wonderful.
Oh, good. You know, I think we all have some fear of something, Dr. Parker. Um, like right now, I don't think I want to be in crowds. I
Hmm.
just, and that's something that has happened maybe in the last 10 years or so, where
Uh-huh.
I avoid large crowds. And I just
Well,
think, you know,
there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. You just don't like to be in large crowds.
Mhm.
I don't care for large crowds either. If- I remember when we went to see Smokey Robinson and
Mhm.
Barry White, and you know the kind of crowds that they attract.
Exactly. And
I,
that's what I'm referring to, like thousands of people in one
right,
location.
right. I didn't particularly like it either. I didn't think at the time of it being something that I was fearful of. I just didn't like being in large crowds.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't necessarily say that was a fear.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so
It's a,
fears can sometimes, unfortunately, make us feel small, powerless, and paralyzed. And I
mhm.
think that was one of the reasons why I went on that little small cruise that our event planner planned for us, because I didn't like the fact that it controlled me
Mhm.
to that point. And so I figured, okay, I can go on this. I'll have a nice time. I'm not going to let it bother me that I'm in surrounded by all this water. But
Uh-huh.
again, as I said, I could see land on both sides of that vessel. So that was a bit of a help. The
Mhm.
other thing is now I do have a healthy fear. I call it a healthy fear of flying. I just don't like flying.
Mhm.
And I had to make myself do that because, well, let me back up. The phone company made me do it because they sent me to several places where they said, nope, we don't want you to drive. That's going to take too long. You
Mhm.
take the plane. So, so I did. I have flown a number of times, not just for them, but even for myself. But I do not like it,
Uh,
so I avoid it as much. If there's any way possible, I will avoid it.
mhm.
And one of the things that you can do is when you're having these fears is to shine a light on it and acknowledge that you have this fear. And as I say, I understand why I have the fear of the water. Now, the fear of flying, I don't really truly know why I have that fear of flying. I just don't like being that high up in the air, knowing that if it comes down, there's nothing I can do.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're not alone, Loana. There's a lot of
Really?
people that feel that way.
So, the thing of it is, when you know you have these, you acknowledge and you try to figure out why you have these particular fears. But as I said before, some fears are very healthy because it's going to help keep you safe. It makes you alert. For example, if I was to park in a one of those underground parking areas
Mm-hmm.
and it's at night, I will not go down there by myself. I'll make sure that other people are going down there with me
Well, I don't know if that's a fear or
because
if that is
anything
just
could happen
common
to you
sense.
down.
That's being smart, Luana.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. You're
You
right.
know,
It could be common sense.
you know what I mean? It just makes sense not to go in dark places alone.
I think though as we get older, I feel that way more and more that I want to stay safe and that I have like a security guard watching me go to my car, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I ask
Hmm.
them now, "Can you watch me get to my car?" And they're,
Hmm.
very, very accommodating. But I don't go out at night very much anymore.
Well, I don't either. And that really, honestly, that doesn't have anything to do with fear at all. It's just that my vision isn't what it used to be, and the glare from
Mm-hmm.
oncoming traffic sometimes can be almost blinding. So
Mhm,
I'm a little reluctant to go out driving.
mhm.
Although this Saturday, I promised my granddaughter I would be there to see her perform. So, so I'll be going, even though she offered me an out. I told her no, I couldn't do that to her, so I will be there.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, most of the fears that we have usually is a fear of failure, a fear of
Wow.
rejection. Um, especially when it comes to things that we've never done before. You decide, oh, again, I'm using myself because I don't like to pick on people. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
when I wanted to write a book in the beginning, as a young person, I really wanted to write. But the fear that I didn't have anything to say, and if I did write a book, people would think it was stupid because I'm I don't have a lot of knowledge. I didn't go to college, all that kind of stuff. I had these fears, and it kept me from doing what I really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I finally did write a book, I thought, what was I so afraid of? You know,
Yeah.
it's true. My book is not going to be for everybody. Everybody's not going to like it, but that's okay. you know, but that's where we are. We have these little fears that get into us, and they can hold us back, and that held me back for years. So
Wow. Doc, um, Coach Karen talks about sneaky fears, and those fears that we're not even aware of. Like you said, I'm not fears like I don't have the background, or I've never done this before, or somebody's gonna do it better, whatever.
mhm, mhm.
These are little sneaky fears that keep us from doing what we were assigned to do.
Unfortunately, and we don't always have people that we can talk to about those little
Mm-hmm.
fears. Because if you have a trusted friend, you could share that with, and that person has a small understanding, even just a small bit of understanding, they'll help you work through that. They might say, "Okay, you know what? Why don't we do this together?"
Yes.
You'll find all of a sudden, hey, it's not as bad as I thought. And as you know, the more you do something, the better you get. But
Mm-hmm.
it's that initial step uh, that can cause us so much problem, uh, and it does not help when you have negative friends. So you have to be careful about who you're going to be around because sometimes you can have uh, people who are negative, maybe because they don't want you to get ahead of them, or whatever the
Wow.
reason is,
Mhm.
and they'll help feed your fears.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Family often does that too. You know, they're
Some,
not supportive of your endeavors and yeah.
mhm. Yeah. Sometimes family, in try thinking they're helping you,
Yes.
will actually hold you back and feed your fear, because what they're thinking they're doing, they're trying to keep you from being hurt. And
Yes.
so they'll say things not realizing that what they're doing is really more harmful, um, than helping you. Yeah. And if a person
Yes.
doesn't ever learn to accept, hey, it's okay for me to have a fear. I'm just
Mm.
gonna step out there and do it, even though I have this
Mhm.
fear and it's driving me crazy. But I'm gonna do this thing anyway. If you, it just it's a big one of those biggies that a lot of people try to avoid acknowledging, uh,
Mhm.
and accepting. So
Yeah, and like you said, Lawana, sometimes you don't even know. I think maybe Terry, you said this. You don't even know you have the fear that it's kind of lingering back there, and you're not quite sure what it is. And
Mhm.
so part of it is what Lawana says. You have to acknowledge it. So kind of, so I think this is the kind of thing where, if you could talk it out with somebody, a friend or a therapist, because
mhm.
sometimes therapy can bring out these kinds of things for you that has a safer place than talking to a friend or family member about what your fears are. So therapy is often a good route for people to choose if they need to explore and work things out.
That's very true, and that brings up my favorite subject, journaling.
Oh.
There you
That's what
go.
journaling can help you, because you can write about those fears, and if you write about them along with a therapist, therapy or counseling, or however you want to call people. At any rate, they'll ask questions.
Mhm.
Based on your answer, will determine what follow-up questions they're going to come back at you. Uh, but if if your fear is not as deeply rooted as they can sometimes become, you can use a journal and sit down and write about what it is you fear, and start asking yourself, okay, why do I fear this? What is the what's the problem here? What's causing me to have this fear? And sometimes that's a good way to get out of a situation, because
Mm.
you're talking to yourself. You're not you don't have to be concerned about what somebody else is thinking about you. Um, there's a number of ways you can handle it, but I like journaling. Not nothing against counselors or anything like that. They're great
Mhm.
and wonderful, especially if you have a really, really serious problem. But at the same time, you can you can also get out of those situations just by. I'm sorry. All of a sudden, if my screen is showing me frozen.
Oh, you're fine.
You're
You're
Uh,
fine.
not frozen on our end.
okay, well that's good, because I was thinking, oh, am I just talking? And
No, no, we're here and you are here. So
You're
don't
doing
do
great.
anything you wouldn't do on screen because you're on screen. And you're
okay, thank you. So anyway, uh, I think sometimes it can be a great help if you don't have the finances to go to a therapist or a counselor. Just start writing that stuff, because you can say anything in there. You don't have to worry about anybody looking at it unless you go and share it, which I do not advise, because again, you could share it with the wrong person,
mm,
and uh, and then instead of them helping you, they end up making the situation worse.
Mhm.
wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good advice. That's good advice. Just
So,
like I like what you said um about the therapist, Robin. A lot of times people um avoid therapy. but
Mm-hmm.
we all need someone to talk to from time to time. And sometimes you don't know, like you said, Dr. Parker, whether or not that person is going to be, a cheerleader or if they're going to be a saboteur. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes people will feed into what you're already fearing and make it
Mm-hmm.
the situation worse. So I highly recommend going to see a therapist or getting a journal and start writing. And
Wow.
always ask yourself, why do you feel this way? What's causing it?
Yeah.
Mm,
Mhm.
Maybe
mm-hmm.
the journaling will help you figure out whether or not you actually do need therapy or not,
That's
because,
true.
you're
Mhm.
kind of working it out in your mind first. And maybe you can avoid therapy if you can just. I go back and look at what I wrote sometimes and I think, wow, did I write that?
I know.
It's like, oh, that didn't sound so bad. So,
I know. I've done the same thing. I think we all, at some point, that's why all of us can write. And there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of people who want to, but again, that fear comes in about how are people going to perceive me? Uh, did I really, do I really have the knowledge to share this information? I mean, I know I talk about this a lot, but is it enough to put into a book? But
Mm-hmm.
whatever you put into that book is going to be enough for somebody, okay?
what
Because
is your second book about?
this book is going to be about overcoming fears,
Okay.
so how we can get ourselves out of that situation and go for our dreams. And I will share my fear, which was, well, I've had over the years, there have been a number of things that I had a fear of, but most of those things, even though I feared them, I went ahead and did them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You know, and even my getting on that boat was one of my ways of trying to overcome that fear of all that water. So I know there's a certain amount of water I can tolerate. I haven't got to the ocean yet. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Wow. Well, Dr. Parker, can you give us one tip on overcoming fear?
Well, the one that we've all heard is just do it anyway. You have to first acknowledge that you have that fear of that and
Mm-hmm.
try to figure out what's causing the fear. And if you know what's causing the fear, then it's easier for you to step out there and do it. The first time I went on stage in a fashion show to be a model, I'm
Mm-hmm.
telling that was really really um, uh, scary for me, and it was because I was thinking people were going to judge me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm short. I'm not tall. Uh, and I'm the wrong color. you know, I had
Mm-hmm.
all these little things that were in my head because I had been fed those things,
Mm-hmm.
and I allowed them to sit in there. But once I went out there and I did the modeling and I came back at stage, and all of a sudden I was excited to go back. So I was rushing back there to change into the next outfit.
Okay.
So it was going out there and doing it, even though I was scared silly.
Mm-hmm.
That helped me to get over being able to go out there and model and fashions and it's what same with anything. You just have to do it. Acknowledge, yes, I am scared. Why am I scared? Oh, they're not gonna like me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not tall enough. I don't have the right facial figure. I mean, all the, these are just examples. These
Mm-hmm.
are all things that I came up with as to why I was afraid to go out there in the first place. But once I did it, I wasn't concerned about how I looked. I
Mm-hmm.
just had a good time being out there and knowing that for once I was the center of attention. All eyes were on me and nobody was booing.
Wow. Well,
that's so
Dr.
cool.
Well, Dr. Parker, I want to ask you this. Do you have any events coming up? And when is your book going to be available?
Well, I do have an event coming up.
Is
My
it on?
birthday is next month, okay?
What's next
And
month?
my birthday.
Oh, okay.
And I claim the whole month of April is
All
my
right.
personal month.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to be launching my book. It
Oh.
I may not have the physical book with me because
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing some editing in there, changing a few things, but the ebook will definitely be ready on
Okay.
that day. So I, if you go to my link on Linktree, you'll find
Okay.
a VIP book launch. Click on that to attend it on Zoom. I'm also going to be doing it in person. So I'll be having a kind of a hybrid or simultaneous
Uh-huh.
broadcasting. I will be over at Shea's at 1820 Tribute
Yes.
Road. So that's where the actual live event will be. But anyone out of town that wants to attend, hey, you can come on board by registering and you'll receive all the information as to how to connect on that for that day.
So when you go to Linktree and you click on the link, this
Mm-hmm.
is what you'll see as you scroll down the page. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can sign up for Lawana's VIP book launch.
Oh,
Yeah,
when is
that's April 4th.
it? April 4th. Okay.
Uh-huh. That is my
Cool.
day. Mhm.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right.
That's exciting, Lawana.
It
Congratulations.
it is, and I'm really pushing this. So there may be a few errors in this book,
Oh,
but I am working to make sure I catch everything that I possibly can. I think
mm-hmm.
this book will be very helpful because it's not only going to be dealing with fear, but it'll be including some things on confidence, also manifestation and visualization,
Visualization. Mm-hmm.
how trust
Okay.
me, you'll
Well,
get
Dr.
some
Paul.
very
I
valuable
can't wait to read it.
information in there.
I'm
Yes.
going to
Thank
need some
you.
of that stuff. So that's great. I can't wait.
We look forward to it, Dr. Parker, and we want to advise everyone
Well,
to sign
I'm
up
really
for the
excited
book
about it.
launch.
And I'm one of those people who get these ideas at the last
Mm-hmm.
minute, Oh, I need to do my birthday's coming up. I need to do.
There you go.
So all of a sudden I started
Now you
just
are
started.
frozen, Dr. Parker.
She's coming in.
Okay, so Dr. Parker, we're going to sign off.
I
It's that time of day,
am.
but we want to remind everybody if you're looking to become a part of BizChicks, you can sign up for BizChicks simply by texting Biz to 33777. We're here to help you take the hassle out of your hustle and run a profitable business that's fun to run. We look forward to you joining us next week. Who's our guest next week, Robin?
Next week, we have Lakeisha Appleton with us. And the week after that, we have Linus Woods Mullins.
Oh, great. I
And
love
then the
those
week after
ladies.
that, this is March. So March is Lawana, Lakeisha, Linus, and Maureen in that order.
Some of our
And then
favorite
we have
ladies.
coming up.
Dr.
All
Parker, we
right.
want to thank you again for all that you do and how you encourage us.
Oh,
Mhm.
you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
It's always our pleasure. So, with that, is anything else you'd like to share, Robin?
No, I'm done. But just happy that we were able to get Dr. Parker on the air
I
today.
am too. I hope I'll be home from Texas in time to attend your book launch.
Yeah.
I hope you will too. It promises to be fun.
It'll put a smile on my face. So, with that, I want to remind everybody it's okay to make money in your business. So, go to the front of your own line. Have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. We'll be talking tech in easy to understand terms with the Tech Divas. Bye bye, everyone. Have a great day.